Welcome back to another episode of Beyond Organized. I have Kendall Concini here. She is a mum, but also a recent author. She has helped a lot of people in many different ways, and I am going to let her do the rest of the talking on this one. As you can probably tell, my voice isn't going to hold up much longer. So, welcome, Kendall. Welcome to the show.
Yes, it was great chatting with you before this and getting to kind of share a lot of those experiences. My background is in program development, and it's taken me to a lot of different nonprofit, profit, charter schools, education, hospitals. And so I've had
Wow.
the opportunity to, as you do, life coaching, so program coaching and helping people to do person-centered approaches. So with that being my career for so long, I've embraced that in everyday life of just
Yeah.
helping to understand people better. And it has helped me be, I'm a really big mental health advocate. So I've taken that into my parenting, and that's where my author journey sort of came from.
Oh, I love that. And I've been following you on Instagram and you've got the Cloudy Day Chronicles. I would love to hear more about that, and I'm sure the listeners would too.
Yeah, so it started with and I've a lot of people know this, but I do love kind of saying it because it seemed taboo to talk about struggling in parenting. You're supposed to
Mm.
just have your kids and glow the entire
Yeah,
time.
smile.
Um, and I did not. It took me a while to come around to having the idea of children because I struggled with mental health and finding my inner strength to say it's okay for me to exist in the
Yeah,
world and reproduce. And
yeah,
so when my husband and I had children, I went through my normal depression, then I went through PPD, and
yeah,
when my daughters kind of memory and language took off, I needed a way to talk to her about it. That mom wasn't crying because something she did, it was
yeah,
something else, but not dumping that on her from a now
yeah.
I want
It's
a
safe.
parentified child. Yeah. And
Yeah.
we started with she's a water baby. She loves everything water, swimming, playing in splash pads.
Sounds like my daughter.
Yes. I am not the water parent.
Me
I
too.
do not enjoy it. It is like a where's your dad? We use the analogy of a cloud. So we would say,
Mm,
we're at the beach and you love it. Mom doesn't love it. So I have a little cloudy day over here. And that sort of
wow.
resonated. And it took to then, if I was having a really hard day, telling her, like, my cloud's just here, and explaining my emotions to
Wow.
her through it. And so the Cloudy
Yeah.
Day Chronicles came from having those conversations, admitting to people, like, this is what's going on today. And I don't want to hide behind it and kind of feel shame about not being able to just smile. And
Yeah.
so then I decided in a bout of really bad like health stuff, I'm going to distract myself by actually writing that book I said I was always going to do. So
Mhm.
my daughter Alma and we started with a rhyming version, and we were
Yeah.
rhyming back and forth, and then it developed into a bigger children's picture book, and now we're working on publishing it around January of 2026.
Wow. So exciting. So you actually did it with your daughter?
I did. There was a few hard parts. I did go to traditional publishing querying to begin, and just that control. It was so hard to be asked to
Yeah.
cut some parts that were like the heartbeat of
Yeah.
the story, or
Yeah.
just the idea of talking to children. So, like, almost 4, and she helped me make the book. And hearing like, "Well, you have to cut it because that's too many words." I'm like, "She wrote the words,"
Yeah.
and
It's to
and
relate
some
to
things
the
they can't.
children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some, like, tags she used. So at one point, we had, like, proclaimed, and I remember because it was the day she learned it, she was so excited, and she'd be like, "I proclaim this," and they're like, "You can't use that word for kids." I'm like, "Yes, you can if you want them to be smarter."
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I ended up going, self-publishing because it was just,
Good on you.
kind of a little
Yeah.
different, and so I found a fantastic illustrator. What she is gonna do, like, blows my mind. I don't even wanna, like, I don't take credit for the whole book 'cause I'm like, she's shading, and she is the way she created the cloud as a character, and it takes
Yeah.
different shapes and stuff. It's just been an incredible to, like,
Wow.
see it transformed.
Bring it to life. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is so cool. And I love that you sooner got rid of your publisher than change all the things that your daughter did. Like, because at the end of the day, it's not just about making a book for money, right? It's the experience with your daughter. Like, how many kids can say they wrote a book with their mum? And at that age, that's really cool. I can't wait for this book to get out. I want to have a look at it. That is so good. What do you think is sort of the main thing that people experience?
I'm writing the book and I'm doing like the Crawny Day Chronicles because I couldn't find it. So I was going through the depression and parenting, and I tried really hard to find something to talk to her about it, not in a let's go sit in a therapist's office way. And when I couldn't find it, I had started using my own kind of story to tell her. And part of it was I felt an intense shame. Like in
Mm,
traditional publishing, when people are declining the book and saying it's not a fit for me, what they're saying is like, well, this isn't mass marketable. I can't connect to this. We just want something
yeah,
happier. And I sit and I think like, I wish I can do that. I wish I can just give my
yeah,
kids an only happy story, but I
yeah.
also
It's not
don't want them
reality.
to. Yes,
Yeah,
and for a while that stopped me. That's what stopped me from wanting to have kids, but it got to a point where I'm like, I want to feel all my feelings and
yeah,
also enjoy the sunny days with my kids. So maybe mom has a cloudy day every now and
yeah,
then, but I have to remind myself. And one of the big lines from the book is clouds don't last forever. And so the idea that we can feel that, we can have that emotion, we can process it, we can tell kids that it exists because it does. And
yeah,
then we can tell them how to enjoy the other days. And if we wait until what the market thinks is, we can't have that conversation until she's in her 10s and she's in her
yeah.
16s and
Too
she's
late.
18. It is. And
Yeah,
you look at what they're doing in school that is the easier stuff. So they're starting languages in school. We used to start at what, high school. Now languages are in
yeah.
elementary school. They have music. It used to be you get your instrument in ninth grade. Now you get it earlier. I'm like, but we're not doing that for mental health. And
Yeah,
the way the world is now, we need it
we need it
earlier.
more than ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think what you're doing is brave because even though I think the world is so much more accepting now of where people are at with their mental health, there is still so much that I think we still get told to almost keep it quiet from the kids, protect them from it, keep it separate, don't put adult issues onto children. But we're not exactly talking about the fact that kids are so smart, they pick up on every emotion, everything. And if we're going around telling them that feeling sad or feeling angry or scared or all these things are bad, then what's that really teaching them? That's teaching them to go, I'm feeling those things. I'm not allowed to feel those things. There's something wrong with me. Or I can't talk to anyone about this because I don't want to get in trouble. Like there's just all those the knock-on effect is huge. And I think what you're doing in just breaking that cycle and just going, there is a way to have a healthy conversation about this. We're not fixating on it, but we are talking about it. And if anything, doesn't that just make your sunny days all the more sunnier?
And that's a big part of the book is I wrote it in a way that the kids aren't expected to cheer mom up. So it's not, and
Yeah.
that's sort of what I did grow up with. I grew up with
Yeah.
when one person was sad, my dad would go,
Yeah. Make
cheer
them
up your
happy.
mom.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
and it's not their responsibility. So a big
No.
part of the book was the kids see mom sad and mom says, "Go play. I'm just going to sit and I'm going to join you when I'm ready." And the kids accept that and they say, "Okay, when you're ready, mom." And
Mm.
so part of it is just they can recognize the emotion. They do invite her to do things, but they invite her to do it her way. So they want to play in the sand. They say, "Mom, you lay down, we'll put sand on top of you." And so it's the idea that if emotions happen, you don't have to solve them, you don't have to tell mom to go
Mm,
home. You just
mm,
let someone come the way they need to be there. And so a
yeah,
big part of that, I think, is where mental health needs to be more accepting. I can get into the throes of like, jobs and then 9 to 5 and like
Yeah.
it
Yep.
it's just there's no, back in the day you get smoke breaks, there's no mental health break. There's no, I need a second to step away from all of these emails and be over
Yeah.
here, or I need to, telework's kind of a thing, but there's not a, can I telework
Yeah.
today because the world's a lot and I'm going to get my job done, but can I get it done in the
Yeah.
space that I need? And that
Yeah.
is a goal of teaching, like holding space for someone,
Yeah.
and learning how to support them. And so I'm trying,
Yeah.
and the back of the book is what I'm most excited about because we have like discussion questions to kind of spark that. And we have some resources from, I have a merriment maker and she has like a 30 days of joy challenge we've put in there. And so the
Cool.
idea is just a mentality shift to
Mm.
say,
Mhm.
here's how to react to people with emotions. And so,
Yeah.
yes, the book is about a family and mom, but it could be just any loved one learning to
Yeah.
recognize emotions in others and let them feel those feelings.
Yeah. Man, I'm just thinking like how well adjusted your daughter will be when she goes into her teenage years. Well,
We're
I
hoping,
remember
right?
being a teenage. Well, we're certainly hoping, right? But like, I remember being a teenager, and I mean, a girl for starters. There's already a lot of emotions to deal with and everything. But if she's learning these foundational human behaviors and emotions and feelings and that at this age, she's going to be so emotionally mature when her friends are going through stuff, when she's going through stuff, and all of that, and actually be able to process it healthier. She might still have her moments where she's got to learn and all of that too. But I would think as a mum, I would feel like I've done the absolute best I can to prepare her for the world ahead, because we don't want to shelter them from it. They're part of it, but it's just equipping them and not scaring them. And I love your message. And I think it's hard as a parent myself. I kind of don't know when to bring things up, or what to say, because there are people in my life and close to my children who do have various disabilities that are not physical but neurological, that have depression, all of those kind of things. And I kind of don't know how to talk about it. And it's not that I'm trying to avoid it or I'm saying that it's bad. I kind of just don't know how to bring it up in a healthy way. And I think you have done something that so many of us just have struggled to do and struggled to find. And because you're certainly not the only woman that's experienced depression, and as a mum as well, there are millions, millions. But it doesn't mean you don't want to be a mum, that you don't want to be here, that there's all these things. It's so complex. But the way that you have just brought it down into something that's just so digestible, even for adults that maybe can't even comprehend properly, I think what you're doing can seriously impact a lot of lives. And I'm very humbled to have you on this show, because I think what you're
Well,
doing is going to take off.
I need to like put the asterisk too, though. I think there needs to be a vulnerability for people to also say, like, I'm not that good at it. So we have, like, my daughter has this emotional awareness, and sometimes it does backfire because I have shared the story before. She now identified that her emotions are a tornado. So she
Mm.
is a 4 year old. We are looking at how kind of advanced her language and her memory and stuff are. So they don't kind of do the neurological testing, but
Yeah,
she's very ahead. And with
yeah,
that comes, she still has the raging emotions of a 4 year old. So we have
yeah.
a lot of meltdowns. Right now, it's actually been a very hard month because she won't sleep. Like she just
Mm,
doesn't like it.
yeah,
And her mind just keeps going. So she has a lot of emotions and
yeah,
she will scream and say, "This is my tornado." And it's a 4 year old meltdown, but she has that awareness.
yeah. And
And
the
so,
language.
and that's
It's,
kind of the positive part is me
yeah,
knowing like, okay, I snapped at her in that moment because I'm not great keeping my cool when she has been screaming for,
Yeah.
from 2
You and
a.m. to
everyone
4
else.
a.m. Yes.
No judgment here.
But the idea is because of what we've been able to talk about, I am able to prompt her in that moment. And I will
Yeah.
tell her, like, Alma, if I have to come back in here, I'm probably coming in with a storm cloud because I'm not going to
Mm.
be happy. And so she can know then that happy mom is coming back stressed because this is still going on. And
Yeah.
so when we had that rough night, the next morning we're on our way to school and she hit me with like the teenage angst of like, I wish I had a house that didn't yell. And I was like,
Mm.
well, why did I yell? And she goes, well, I didn't put my shoes on and you got a stormy cloud. And I was like, yes. And what could I have done differently? And she's like, well, I could have gotten my shoes. And I said, okay, but you had a tornado and you were everywhere. And so it was kind of using
Yeah.
what we identify to break the cycle that
Yep.
my family hadn't because the answer was, I'm your parent. I told you to do this.
Yeah.
You should have done it.
There's
And
no talking
then
about it.
I'm like, well, I had so many emotions. Why aren't mine valid?
Yeah.
And so part of it
Yeah.
is I'm not good at this. I don't have like the therapist's name on the back on some days, but it's being able to be vulnerable and telling her, "Hey, mom screwed up because this is what was going on in my and what are you feeling too?" And then recognizing her tornado and saying,
Yep.
"Okay, let's talk that through because you're not just losing your mind, you are finding your voice to say, I am experiencing something bigger than just I'm tired." It's
Yeah.
a lot of processing.
That in itself is huge. And yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that your daughter's not going to have a bad day. She's still a typical child. But it's more that you've equipped her with a language to be able to express that, but you're giving her the space as well to express it. Because yes, the generation of our parents, it was very much just do as I say. And no buts, no excuses, just do it. And they meant well. They also did not know how to handle us as kids and all of that. I get that, especially being a mum now myself. Totally respect my parents and I love them, but I want to have that healthy balance of them not necessarily questioning everything I do, but when there is that thing that we need to talk about, that we can talk it through. As I was saying, you've created this language that I love and I want to adopt into my family to be able to help with those difficult conversations that I just haven't known how to address before. So thank you for being able to give me the language to then help my children express that as well.
It started way back when I was in therapy. My therapist described my emotions like a wave. And it was, the waves are going and you can play in them, but you can also feel the undertow. And for a while that made sense.
Yeah.
But when I was working on it, I was like, it's not a waves because waves are like in one place. And so the cloud
Oh,
made
yeah.
more sense to me because I did like my personal cloud research, but don't ask me any of the like exact names because I'm not that into them.
That's okay.
Um,
That's okay.
but it was fascinating to like the different environments clouds show up in, the different ways they show up, and the sunny ones and the, dark
Yeah.
ones and so saying that that is how your emotions can show up too just kind of clicked with me
Makes
and it was an
sense.
easier way to talk to them. And then yes, like my daughter wants a tornado. My son's only 2 and he's like new to his language, so he wants a rock, which isn't like the best
Oh,
analogy, but he
that's
does
so
just lay
adorable.
down. He gets in this little like rock pose and he's just like rock. And I'm like, okay,
Oh,
but it's
bless him. Oh, that is
so
so adorable.
his needs work, but he'll get there. And that's kind of part
Yeah.
of the hope is, he has
Oh,
that's the emotions of a 2-year old though, where they like
yeah.
pout and sit. And I'm like, okay, I'll see you in a couple minutes.
And you know
But
what? They can be stubborn. I say that word lightly, as a rock. Sometimes I'm not budging. I know what I'm
yes.
talking about. I've been here 2 whole years. Oh man, that is so good. So what is one thing that you would love every mum out there to know who is perhaps struggling with depression, whether it's postpartum or something that they've been dealing with for years? What's something that you would love the mums out there to know?
So it's sort of a spoiler from the book too, but the quote, "It's okay to not be okay." Like, that's the biggest one. I think moms, we think, and we do, we think we have to sit in it 24/7, and we do sit in it 24/7 because we have that extreme guilt to walk away. And a big piece of it was recognizing that the cloud is a part of me, it's not all of me. And some days it's gonna feel like it's all of me, but it's not who I am, and having a bad day doesn't define your entirety of motherhood. And
Yeah,
what I have been able to do from recognizing that is giving myself permission to know that a cloud is kind of rolling in. And so if we are going through something hard at home, I will, as much as it gives me the mom guilt, I'll tell my daughter, like, if this doesn't stop, mom needs to walk away for 5 seconds and come back. And I will, like,
mm.
leave a stressful room, or I am very triggered because she went through like colic phase. So the crying is just like
Oh
the
my gosh,
PPD
I
emotions.
know that. Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
And so now if she starts again, I was like, "Mom
Mm,
can't take this. I need to come back when this is quieter." And so it's being able to just say that. And it's not
mm.
that suddenly my daughter's never gonna love me because mom walked away in a chaos. And
Yeah,
it's just, it's hard because the mom guilt is deep, but
yeah,
recognizing that it is okay to tell someone,
yeah.
I need to
You
step
need it
away from
too.
this for a minute,
Yeah,
because the mom that stays in it 24/7 is strong, but not as strong as the one who walked away and came back with a little reset.
yeah,
And
regrouped,
and
yeah.
and yes, and so that's been something through this book I've been able to do, because once we really took to, like, we have a cloud pillow too, and so
Oh.
if we are really kind of like in this rut, I can go grab it and just say, "All right, like, we need to stop for a second." And
Mm,
we are able to recognize that visually. And now, with her kind of learning more language, we're able to talk it through.
so good. Oh, that is so good. So, I hate to wrap this up, but what is the best way for people out there to find you?
So I'm on Instagram at Cloudy Day Chronicles. And then there's also a link to, I'm doing a blog post that is cloudydaychronicles.wordpress. And that is more about the kind of adult side of where I want moms to read to resonate, where I want parents to read and resonate, and people to kind of talk and see those days that are, here's what I went through and it's still okay. Like, here, so I write the
Yeah,
post about the depth of it, and then I put a happy photo of me and the family because we went through
yeah.
this, but here's the happy memories we took
Outcome.
away.
Yeah, that is so good. Well, I'll make sure all the information is in the notes there. So just head to the description and they can find that and get in touch with you. But thank you so much, Kendall, for coming on and sharing your message. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.